February 21st, yesterday was my 4-year anniversary driving with Uber. I'll share with you all the numbers, the facts, the data, and just a couple of stories about what it's been like driving for Uber for 4 years. Hi, my name is Levi, and this is The Daily Drive. Today's Daily Drive is brought to you by Tonquin. With Tonquin, you deliver car parts from auto part suppliers to auto part repair shops. Tonquin's great. You're dealing with business professionals that want you to move quickly, right? They're not going to sit there and make you wait in your car for the pickup or anything like that. And it's pretty easy. I've driven with Tonquin for many years, and I know the team there at Tonquin. They're great. Please let the team at Tonquin know that Levi from Tip You in the App sent you. If you can't recognize, I'm not feeling too good. I got a chest cold, so bear with me as I go through this 4-year anniversary. But there was no way for me to do it another time. 4 years only happens on a certain day, right? Well, a couple days ago, maybe not a couple days ago, yesterday, I got a notice from Uber saying, hey, it's your 6-year anniversary, which is dumb because I started 4 years ago, which is proof Uber's app is just not perfect. And so I think we all know that, right? All right. Well, this is what happened with me. On February 17th, 2020, I was in Las Vegas on a business trip, and I was catching my flight back to the airport. And I was just complaining to my Uber driver about money. Now, I had a kid in college, I had a kid going to college. My kid that was just graduating from college had a baby, and, I'm a grandfather, and my wife is a stay-at-home mom. I had a 13-year-old, or I guess he was 9 at the time at the house. And so I just felt overwhelmed. And even though I was making good money with my employer, it just didn't seem like enough money. I was complaining to Branislav, and he's from Croatia, about money. And he said I should be an Uber driver. And I was kind of, not insulted, but I was kind of like, dude, I'm a vice president at a company. Come on, you got to know. I'm an Uber driver. And he's like, no, trust me, you'd be good at this and you're going to make good money. And he was right. So on the flight home, I signed up for the app. I, submitted my paperwork. And on that weekend, that first Friday, it was February 21st, I believe. Actually, no, it was February 21st at 7:00 at night. I turned the app on, and I was doing 60 in the left-hand lane on a highway. And of course, Uber gives me a ping right away. My phone wasn't mounted. I didn't know what I was doing. And it said, in 100 feet, exit the highway. And of course, there's no way for me to exit the highway. So I had to go down to the next exit. The passenger texts me, hey, where are you? I'm still trying to figure out how the map works. I have no idea what I'm doing. But thankfully, she was really kind. It was actually 4 college students at Syracuse University. 3 of them didn't even speak English. It was just a short trip, 2 miles in 6 minutes or something like that. And I got a tip. It was great. And I wish that was a story with every trip. But it was great. And I liked it. It was really easy and fun. And that whole night, I did maybe, 5, 10, 15 more trips. I can't remember. But it was great. And I liked it. And I decided that I could do this more often. And 4 years later, here I am with, doing it almost as a full-time job. I'm making somewhere between $800 to $1,500 a week doing this. And I like it. And I recommend it for anybody. But let me go through some numbers for you and kind of tell you what I've done over the last 4 years. Here are the numbers. I've earned $99,536. I've spent $10,000.19 on fuel. I've estimated depreciation at $8,800. I've estimated my taxes at $5,800. And I've estimated maintenance at $3,500. And the reason why I say estimate, because I have a number that I apply per mile, what I think it's going to cost me. That means I spent $28,000 to make $99,000, and my profit's roughly $71,000. During the last 4 years, I've taken 8,819 trips. I'd say 99% of those are UberX. I've done 120 trips with Lyft, and I've done a few, I think 200 Uber Eats, give or take, something like that. I've driven 100,000 miles. I've been online for almost 3,000 hours. And that means my earnings per hour, I've made $33.58 for every hour I've been online. And after I calculate all my expenses, I'm making about $24.70 per hour. And that includes paying for my car, my taxes. If which is good money. But to make that kind of money, what I've learned over the years is you got to drive really late at night. And so when I'm driving, that midnight to 2 a.m. shift, I'm making $60 an hour. If I drive at like 10 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, I'm barely making $20 an hour. So the reason why my profit per hour is so high is because I'm choosing to drive really late at night. 3,000 of my trips have tipped me, which means about almost 40% is the tip to trip ratio, which is pretty low, right? You'd think almost everybody gives you a tip, but the reality is very few people tip. My largest tip was $100, and my smallest tip was 8 cents. I remember the largest tip vividly. It was just a father and a son on a road trip. They were truckers. It was near Christmas time during COVID, that COVID year, 2020. And it was just like a short 1 mile trip, but he handed me the $100 bill and said, "Merry Christmas." And that stuck with me. And it was just one of the nicest gestures somebody's ever given to me. And it meant a lot. And so remember, when you tip, it's not just some sort of compensation. It's a form of generosity. It's a way of being kind. And then that really matters a lot to me. My longest trip is Syracuse to Philly. That's right. I went all the way to Philadelphia. It was like 5-6 hours, something like that. And I'm still friends with Nathan today. My shortest trip was literally right around the block, and I got paid a lot of money. I made like $20 on that, 200-yard trip. It was really easy. And my customers have paid over $155,000, and that's just on Uber. So Lyft, maybe a little bit more if you add it all together. But so I've earned 2/3 of the money that the customers have paid, which isn't too bad. I've picked up passengers as far away as Mongolia, Afghanistan, Tajikistan. They're from all around the world. Probably the most remote place was Mayotte, which I believe is somewhere in the Indian Ocean or off the coast of Madagascar in Africa. The passengers have been great. I'd say 99.9% of all of my rides have been perfect. People are just kind. And I know we like to look at the news and see all the craziness, what's going on in the world. And sometimes that craziness does enter your car as an Uber driver. But overall, things have been great. I've had people throw up in bags, primarily in my car. I did have one young lady throw up down the side of my car, and it was, I think, negative 10 degrees outside. And it froze. It was 1 a.m., which means there's no hose or car wash open to wash off frozen vomit off the side of my car. I've had passengers that stink, like not just the marijuana stink, but like people that I think sleep with their dogs. And they really stink. They smell really bad. I've had one guy burp in my face. He was so drunk. I turned around to see if he was doing okay, and he burped, and it was the grossest thing ever. I've had blood on my seats. Passengers don't really treat your car well, but I don't think they're trying to mistreat your car. They're just thinking about what they're doing on their trip. The best experiences tend to be really good conversations, people that are doing interesting things. One of the great things about driving in a college town is you meet people doing research on amazing things, bees, or they're trying to genetically merge apples and tomatoes. And yeah, that's a real thing. Did you know that? And so I think it was apples and tomatoes. I don't know. Maybe it was some other thing, but it was tomatoes and something. The downside to Uber, if you are interested in getting in this, other drivers will tell you it's physically hard, to sit in your car for such long periods of time to make money. Again, to make the most amount of money, you have to drive late at night. And it's dark. It's hard to see passengers on the road, pedestrians, I should say. And you're going to be in unfamiliar neighborhoods. Sometimes the weather's bad, and the passengers aren't, especially late at night, they're drunk. And that can be physically and mentally challenging. And I work really hard on my fitness. Maybe not really hard, but I do. I stretch a lot. I get out of my car. I do jumping jacks. I have a Planet Fitness membership, and I try to go there a couple times a night while I'm Uber driving just to stretch and go for walks and get on the rower and do different things. But overall, it's been great. And the best part about doing rideshare and Uber driving has been you, my fellow drivers. The reason why I created Tip You in the app, I felt like there was no community for us, right? The Uber and Lyft, they don't care about us. And the passenger, maybe while they're in our car, they care about us, but the minute they get out, they're going on about their life. And one of the hard parts about being a gig worker, a rideshare driver, is you're kind of out there all alone. And when I looked at a lot of the other content creators that were in this space, I felt like it was much more angry. And by the way, rightfully so. There's Uber and Lyft have deserved a lot of our righteous anger. But I can't emotionally stay like that for a long period of time. It's draining on me to be angry. And the other thing is, I think a lot of the content creators aren't even full-time drivers. I mean, they're barely driving a couple hours a week if they're driving at all. So I thought, what if I became a content creator and created a community for me and you to just connect and bond, share good stories, tips and ideas, and reminisce about the fun things and maybe kind of like, lament the bad things together. But overall, it's been a positive experience. Driving with Uber and Lyft, and the passengers, the flexibility, the freedom, the ability to just say, I'm going to take the next few weeks off. And then the ability to say, I'm going to work 60 hours this week and make up some money. I like that. I like that a lot. I respect my fellow driver. Again, passengers just don't know how hard it is. And I do. I do. Before we depart today, I'd like for you to check out VOOM Rideshare Insurance. With VOOM, you pay for the insurance that you need. See, if you're driving something like, 30, 40 hours a week, you're mostly covered by Uber and Lyft when you're having the app on. And so why should you be paying for private insurance when most of the time you're covered by Uber or Lyft or some other gig app? That's where VOOM Rideshare Insurance comes in. You only pay for the time when you're off the app. It's really simple. You go in their website, sign up, connect your apps, and they'll give you a quote. And drivers can save upwards of 60%. VOOM is in Tennessee, Arizona, Colorado, and Nevada, and they're coming to a state near you. VOOM is a great partner of the Daily Drive. So to my fellow drivers, be safe, be well, and know that I'm cheering for you. Bye.